Hey cuties, we're gonna jump right in with this makeup music and a couple of mistakes. I'm starting out with the PMG palette and using that shimmer shade to go in my arch. Next, I'm using the Cover FX concealer. Something's going on with my voiceover and I'm getting frustrated. So if I sound like I'm a little bit disturbed, it's because I am. But anyway, this consistency of this concealer is extremely thin. So you are going to need to either set it or, I don't know, maybe use it just for your everyday looks. Why I did this tape thing, I'll never know, because the way things look in person and the way things look on camera can be definitely different, right? Because to me, I started doing my makeup like those two pieces of tape were straight, symmetrical, and they're absolutely not. And I just kept on going like, I got this. I got to see it through. But anyway, I've really been focused on creating a shape that I like on my eyes with my hoods on my eyes and trying to be more creative with my makeup looks. I'm finding that I don't necessarily always like my makeup because it's not complementary to the shape of my face. And I know the only way to overcome this is by doing makeup more. And now that I'm starting to get my energy back and I'm starting to get all of my, what they call them, vitals and everything at the right numbers, I'll definitely be doing more makeup. I knew that those pieces of tape were not straight, and I don't know why I didn't just take them off and do my regular eye. But anyway, this concealer does crease, so smooth it out as need be. Here I'm using one of the red Sonia brushes in order to just remove all creases. First time for everything. This is the Cover FX Dewy Skin Primer. Immediately when I put it on, I'm like, ooh, dewy. However, I did not like the fact that it doesn't dry. Like it doesn't dry. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't do a lot. But the fact that it didn't dry made it absorb pretty much everything that I put on my face. As soon as I saw how oily I felt, I went against the face primer. And I purposefully did my eyes so that I could tell if this dewy skin primer was going to like dry down. I don't know. It was new. It was new. But anyway, I'm going into the Vivid Pigment palette from Raine. Definitely one of my favorite brands. And there was actually a question that was posed in one of the makeup groups about who you would like to see Pat McGrath collab with. And hands down, Raine was the first brand to pop in my head. It should have been Yana's eyes, but more realistically, right now, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Raine. Sis has put in the time, and it is a worthy collaboration. I pretty much just went in and packed on the orange and the red shades. I have to, practice more as far as creating shapes on my eyes and not just kind of putting the colors on and blending them. I know where I'm making a lot of my mistakes. I just had to find the time to practice and correct them. Then I went in and I blended those two colors together using a flat fluffy brush from the Poison Ivy brush set. If you don't know, you just ought to. Right? So these two colors, as you can see, popping. That tape situation is another situation for another day. Then I went into the PMG palette for this shimmer blue. Now the reason why I said I'm using the tape is because I realized that my eyes are more round than almond shape. So I don't have that slant where the eyes go up. My eyes kind of go down. and I have to create the up shape. But as you can see, with the tape, I need lots and lots of practice putting the tape evenly on both sides. So here I'm just, blending, trying to make sure that it looks neat and symmetrical. That's another deal that I have to practice, my symmetry. And now I am making sure that blue doesn't swallow the purple, and I'm blending the purple into the blue and trying to create like a rounded shape. Then in my crease, I added black. I had to switch brushes. Some of the brushes that I'm using are like reject brushes, so I try to use them because it seemed like every brush in the house was dirty, so I cleaned them. Now I cleaned them. I'll have the brushes that I want for the looks that I'm trying to do. Here I'm using my favorite eyeliner. It's the Milani 17-hour Stay Put liner. It dries down matte, don't need to add shadow, and it dries down quick. Soon as I pulled that tape off, I realized I had two different eyes, but got to see it through, my boy. So I went in with the Power Play foundation in the shade N90. I'm sure I used too much. And then I added these enhancement drops, and the enhancement drops was in the shade 110. I probably used too much of that as well. As you can see, my face looks a little darker than it should, but I'ma still see it through. I added the Milani Concealer, which is one of my top 5 concealers right now. But immediately when I started blending it in, I knew something was wrong, because the concealer actually just absorbed into my skin. I mean, to the point where you could barely see it. And that is not the reputation of Milani. So this primer, along with the foundation, is just swallowing the product. So I decided to go in with the Nars Concealer, thinking, okay, I'm on the same level, that upper echelon prestige brand. And I learned that, yeah, it worked. It did. As you can see, it's showing up and showing out. Still, I can tell that the foundation and the primer is still absorbing the product, but not as much. Okay, that was the good thing. Or it might have been a combination of the two. Either way, we now have concealer. Then I'm going on top with the Fenty setting powder in order to set the liquid concealer that I just put on my face, and hopefully bring it out just a little bit more. And then I did something that I never had done before, which was use a liquid concealer in order to contour my face. First and foremost, I'm pretty sure I used too much. Yep, I did. Because as soon as I started blending it out, I was like, this is dark. And I did not want a harsh contour. So I went over top of it. I went over top of it with the Maybelline Fit Me Press Powder. It's more on the milk chocolate side, and since it's more milk chocolatey, I felt like it would tame what I had on. I could have used my Inglot bronzer, but I went against it for whatever reason. Then I hit my jawline. For some reason, when I'm doing my concealer everywhere else, I never do this jawline. I save it for one of the last steps on my face, and I use it with the setting powder already in the brush. So I just blend the concealer in, and hopefully it gets equal amounts of setting powder. Then I use this big old face brush out of the Poison Ivy brush set to remove any excess powder. And I'm using an angled brush in order to contour my nose. I love this brush, but it is part of a set that I rejected. I decided not to sell it, but there were brushes out of it that I value and I keep them. It's not the best brush anyway to blend, but just to define. Whenever it was time to blend out that setting powder, I decided to go in with a smaller fluffy face brush from Poison Ivy. I really love that set. Next, I'm going in with the PMG liner. Update: it cannot withstand Florida heat. It melted right off my face. Then I'm using the glitter drops, also from Cover FX. This almost killed the look. Immediately when I started blending in the product, I could tell that my foundation and primer was absorbing it. So I found this unicorn glitter palette to put on some powder, and then I looked like an ashy mess. I couldn't believe I did that. So I took one of the brushes from the face brushes from the Outstanding brush set from Yana's Eyes, and I just tried to blend it. Now I want the products to be absorbed into my skin to the point where you can't even see them. That's what I want, but it's not happening. I just keep swiping. I even use my finger. And for a person that sells brushes, that is desperation whenever you use a finger. Like, I got all of these beauty tools. Why would I use my finger? Because I'm nervous. It's not working, and I'm more than halfway over the line, so I don't want to trash this look. Then I went into my almighty blush binder from the crayon case. Still using it, faithful to this day, and I probably could use it for the rest of my life. But I'm not buying another blush until it excites me more than when this blush binder came out. Now I'm smoking out my waterline with a like burgundy shade. I don't want to do too much, but I wanted it because if I go outside in the heat, it'll buy me some time on the running liner-ish under eye. And then in the inner corner, I went in with that same orange that I filled in on the concealer on the top, above the bright orange. And I'm using a detailed brush from the Yana's Eyes Sub-Zero brush set. Me and these rhinestones is a conversation for another video. Shush. This lipstick is called Exotic, and it is from Esther Essentials. Follow her on Instagram. She is another growing business, and I was so excited to get this red lipstick. When I initially purchased it, I was sick and laying on the couch, right? And so I put it on in hopes that it would lift my spirits. And it did, but then I lost it. It was actually underneath the couch. I'm so embarrassed. And here, the lash chooses me. I don't choose the lash. I just put the lash up there, right? Y'all gonna see this shirt more than one time. But again, the shade is called Exotic. I thought it had a scent to it, like a cherry scent, but I don't know, maybe it does. I have to get back to you on that. But it goes on so beautifully. I love it. I'm now putting it in my top 5 favorite red lipsticks. I wasn't going to let y'all in on the struggle of putting on these lashes, but they are called Extra. Guys, I'm really just hoping that this video turns out good. I threw on the hair because I didn't know what to do with my real hair. Right now in Miami, you have to schedule a hair appointment like a month in advance. I don't even keep my hair in for a month. So by the time I make an appointment, I already want a different hairstyle by the time the appointment gets there. And then they're like, well, you can't do that because the time that it will take to do the hair, you know, you got to book off for that time, which I understand. But dang, man, just get me in the door. Like 2 weeks? I don't know. But anyway, this hair worked. It complemented the look. My earrings are from none other than Indigenous Beauty Concepts. Has a matching necklace. Make sure you're following me on Instagram as well as TikTok so you can see my gems, my jewelry, custom. You will never find another that has the same. After fiddling with this wig 17 times, I decided that it was straight, it was cool, and I took a couple pictures and I did a couple TikToks today. Since this gave me so much trouble, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. Leave a comment below and let me know how you're feeling this look, the hair, the earrings, the makeup, and definitely the lashes. And until next time, see you when I see ya. Peace.
They come for your dream, come for your work. They make you mean, they make you work. They take your work, they take your worth, your self-esteem. They make you hurt, they make you hurt. They make it seem like it ain't worth it, but it's always worth it.